Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Elden Ring and I'm bringing you the top 10 best quality spears. So that's spears that just require strength or dexterity or both to use. No faith, no intelligence, and no arcane requirements on this list. I'll be ranking them based on various stats including attack power and lots of other stuff. From worst to best, 10 being the worst, 1 being the best. And I will be showing you the exact location of how to find each one of these. So let's just dive on in and start off with number 10, the CELEBRANT'S Rib-Rake, which you can see I'm wielding here. Doesn't look a whole lot like a spear, but given the name that the name of Rib-Rake, it makes sense that it does look a lot more like a rake made out of ribs. So pretty goofy looking, but it is a spear. As far as our attributes required to use it, 8 for strength, 14 for dexterity. We have a C rating for dexterity scaling and D for strength. Our attack power on this one is 544. It has the barbaric roar weapon art on it as a stock option, but it can be upgraded using Ashes of War. As far as how and where to get this, it will be a random drop from the cackling idiots at the windmill village, or at least the ones that wield it. So you come up here to the windmill village in the Altus Plateau, and you just start killing all of these dancing fools until one of them will drop it. Now obviously it has to be one that is wielding it, and they all wield different weapons, but they're pretty dang easy to kill, so I usually just go through and wipe out the entire village, because there are a number of different weapons that can only be looted from here, so you know, might as well get them anyway. But you can see the one I just killed there has it. Like I said, you'll see it popping up throughout the village. So that is how you do it. You just keep killing these fools until you get your hands on it, and then you'll have it. So that is number 10, the CELEBRANT'S Rib-Rake. Let's move on to number 9. Alright, so at number 9 we have the short spear, which you can see we have equipped here. I actually really like the way this one looks. It is a leaf-bladed spear, nothing too special about it. I really like it. It's just got a real basic and realistic look to it. As far as stats required to use this one, 10 for strength, 10 for dexterity. We have a C rating for dexterity scaling and D for strength. Our attack power on this one is 559, so pretty good there. This one has the impaling thrust weapon art on it by stock, and it can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So there are two ways to get this one. It is the starting equipment for the Prophet class, so if you want to get your hands on it right away at the beginning of the game, just start off as a Prophet. But if you don't want to do that, you can buy it from the Twin Maiden Husks at Round Table Hold. So you can see we're over here now, and if you're just starting off the game and have never played it before, the way you get here is either progress through Stormvale Castle and rest at the lake-facing cliffs, or make your way into Caelid and rest at the Smoldering Church. Either way, your maiden will appear and offer to bring you to the Round Table Hold. Once you've accepted, you'll be here, and you can go through this left passage until you find the Twin Maiden Husks. And then you can purchase the short spear from the Twin Maiden Husks down here for 600 runes. So pretty simple and straightforward, not very expensive. And if you start off as a Prophet and then make your way here as soon as possible, you can have 2 of these spears right away at the beginning of the game. So that's number 9, the short spear. Let's move on to number 8. Alright, so at number 8 we have the standard spear, which is another one that I quite enjoy the appearance of. It looks very, very nice. Obviously this one has a much longer blade section, but still very realistic and very cool. As far as attributes required to use this one, it's going to be 12 for strength, 15 for dexterity, and we're going to have a D rating for strength scaling and C for dexterity, so it does scale better with dex. Our attack power on the spear is 562, so a little step above the last one. This one comes with the impaling thrust weapon art and can be upgraded using Ashes of War. The impaling thrust is one of the more fun stock weapon arts just because it does deal quite a bit of damage and is pretty good for stance breaking. So pretty solid all in all. As far as how to get this, there are 2 pretty good ways. The best way to get it, especially if you don't care about doing the patches storyline, is to immediately make your way to Murkwater Cave. You'll go to the end of the cave, which is not very large, and there's a boss fight with Patches. Now normally you can, after getting his health down below 40%, he'll surrender, and if you accept his surrender, you can, not kill him. But if you do kill him here, you can get a +7 version of the spear from him. If after he surrenders you just keep attacking him and kill him, you can get yourself a +7 version of the spear from him here. Otherwise, it is a random drop from guards that wield it, and you can find them all over the map, but probably the best place to go is Stormvale Castle, because there are a number of them here that will wield it. And so you can see here's one right here that's wielding it. You can just come out in this room and hop up the wooden stairs. Oops, don't do that though, because you might die. Just go up those stairs and you'll find him up there, and you can kill him over and over again and keep respawning at the Rampart Tower Site of Grace, and eventually he will drop it. So if you want to grind out for it, that is the best place that I know of to do it. So that is number 8, the spear. Let's move on to number 7. So next up, of course, we have the Iron Spear, which is starting to get more into the realm of fantasy stuff just because the tip of it is so wide, but I guess if you were using it as a slashing spear, it wouldn't be that bad. I mean, you could stab someone with it. It would just take an incredible incredible amount of force to try to get through any amount of armor. As far as our attributes required to use it, 13 for strength, 11 for dexterity. We have a D rating for dexterity scaling and C for strength, so this one does scale better with strength. Our attack power on this one is 569, so just a little bit higher than the last one. It can be upgraded with Ashes of War, but it does have the Charge Forth weapon art on it at its base level. And that weapon art just looks like this. So it's just a really powerful thrust that you can use to close the ground. Again, it deals a lot of damage and can break through a lot of stances. So if you want to get this weapon, you have to make your way down to the Nokron Eternal City area. And to get down here, you need to have defeated Radahn over here in Caelid, because then a meteorite busts through the ground and you're able to get down into the Nokron Eternal City. So once you've gotten down here, you just look for the Iron Hawk soldiers that can be found wielding it. So this guy here has it. But yeah, you just keep killing them. Eventually, one of them will drop it, just like any other grinding weapon in the game. So that is number 7, the Iron Spear. Let's move on to number 6. Alright, so next up at number 6, we have the Partisan, which is a pretty cool looking weapon. Again, it's got a less realistic blade on the top if you're planning on using it primarily as a thrusting weapon, but, you know, whatever. It's in a game. So the attributes required to use this one are 15 for strength, 12 for dexterity. We have a D scaling for dexterity and C for strength. Our attack power on the Partisan is 586, so a decent step above the last one. This one has the impaling thrust weapon art on it, but can be upgraded using Ashes of War. So as far as how to get this one, it is one of the more annoying grindy type weapons. You have to get it from knights that wield it. So you can find them all over the map. Probably the best spot is going to be the Godric Knight here at Gatefront Runes, just because it's so early game. Otherwise, there's Godric Knights at Fort Height that use it, Radahn Knights at Fort Gale that use it, Cuckoo Knights in East Raya Lucaria, Lindell Knights in Lindell Royal Capital, and Mausoleum Knights on horseback in Deeproot Depths. Basically, any place where you can find the knights. The Heavy Knight down there, you know, the annoying one early game that probably killed you multiple times before you kind of learned the ropes. This guy right here. So basically, if you're going to do it here at Gatefront, you just keep killing this guy until eventually he will drop it. So it's an annoying grindy weapon, but it can be done. If you want it, that's how you do it. Alright, so next up at number 5, we have the Torchpole, which, you know, not really a spear by most definitions, but it's more of a torch, but it still works really, really well in the game. As far as attributes required to use it, 14 for strength, 15 for dexterity. We have a C rating for both dexterity and strength scaling, so it scales equally well with both of them. The attack power in the Torchpole is 612, which is pretty great. It does not have the ability to be upgraded with Ashes of War, but it does have the Charge Forth special attack, and it also deals fire damage, so it is just a pretty dang good weapon. As far as how to get it, there isn't a set location, but any enemy that wields a Torchpole can hypothetically drop one, and so you'll find them all over the map, just wandering around. But my favorite place to grind out for them is going to be here in Stormvale Castle. So if you start from the Rampart Tower site of Grace and go down this elevator, there's going to be a large concentration of them. So you can see there's lots of guards out here, and as you can see, there's at least 1 or 2 that have this one. So like I said, a pretty solid way to get it. As far as the Torchpole, you do have to grind for it, which is annoying, but it is a pretty good weapon, and it's not that hard to grind for, considering the enemies that use it are pretty weak. So that is number 5. Let's move on to number 4. All right, and so for number 4, we have a lot of people's favorite weapon, or at least favorite spear, the Pike. Now this thing is pretty incredible just because of how friggin' long it is. You can't even, with a lot of angles, fit the whole thing on the screen. So it is just a really, really long weapon, giving you incredible reach. I definitely am a fan of the Pike as well. As far as attributes required to use it, 20 for strength, 14 for dexterity. We have a D rating for dexterity scaling and C for strength, so it's going to scale better with strength than dex. Our attack power with the Pike is 582. It has the Charge Forth weapon art on it and can be upgraded with Ashes of War. Like I said, the special thing about this weapon is just that it gives you better reach than any other weapon in the game. Now, as far as how and where to get this one, it's going to be in Stormvale Castle, so the same place that we were just grinding for the Torchpole is actually where you can pick this one up. So there's going to be a bunch of corpses scattered around the ground. One of these 3 here has the Pike on it. So, like I said, if you look at where we are on the map, we're close to the lift side chamber site of Grace. There are a bunch of corpses on the ground, and one of them has the Pike on it. It's one of these 3, I believe. Just come here, you'll see glowing stuff on the ground, and one of them is the Pike, and that is, as far as I know, the only place in the game where you can get it. So that's number 4. Let's move on to number 3. Alright, and so at number 3, we have the Spiked Spear, which is an interesting looking one. It has one pointy thing up front, and then like a club part with a bunch more little spikes on it. So it's got a real unique looking appearance. As far as attributes required to use it, it's 14 for strength, 16 for dexterity. We have a D rating for both strength and dex, so it scales equally with them. Neither one of them particularly good, but it does have pretty pretty good stats other than that, so, you know, it makes up for it. It also causes a 50-point blood loss buildup, which is pretty great. It comes with the Impaling Thrust special attack and can be upgraded with Ashes of War, and the attack power for this one is 587, so pretty solid and a little bit higher than the Pike. As far as how to get this, it's a random drop from marionette soldiers that you can find wielding it. My favorite place to grind for it is going to be over here at Witchbane Ruins, which is really close to the 4th Church of Marika, Site of Grace. Otherwise, you can find a whole bunch of them around the Converted Tower, but I like right here because you can just come straight from the Site of Grace and come kill this guy here, this marionette soldier here, who has a chance of dropping it. Kill him enough and he will eventually drop it. So that's number 3, the Spiked Spear. Let's move on to number 2. Alright, so at number 2, we've got a lot of people's favorite spear, the Cross-Naginata. So it's a Japanese-looking spear. I like it. It looks pretty dang cool. It's definitely a slashing weapon, or I guess chopping, but probably slashing would be a better description. Attributes required to use it are 16 for strength, 20 for dexterity. We have a D rating for strength, but B for dexterity, so this one scales very well with dex. It also causes 50 points of blood loss buildup, which is always nice. It starts with the Impaling Thrust weapon art, but can be upgraded using Ashes of War, and our attack power on this one is 641, making it one of the highest attack damage spears in general, but the second highest overall for quality spears. As far as how to get this one, it is in a set location over here in Caelid, so you're going to want to make your way to the Gale Tunnel area in Caelid, and once you do, just follow the path that I'm going to show you here. And so you just make your way into this room with the land octopus hanging from the ceiling. You kill the land octopus, and then you'll be able to pick it up off a corpse in the ground. Or on the ground, I should say. I believe the corpse is back here. So this little guy right here. So I guess if you want to put a marker on the map, it's right here on the map, but again, you're inside a cave, so not that that's all that useful. Let's move on to the number 1 best quality spear in the game. Alright, so finally at number 1, we have the Bolt of Gransax, which is a pretty interesting looking weapon, and it is one of the legendary weapons in the game, so you're probably going to want to go ahead and grab it anyway. But it's also the number 1 best quality spear in the game, just as far as raw damage goes, and of course having a really good special attack. So our attributes required to use this one are 20 strength and 40 for dex, so a really high dexterity requirement. We have a D scaling for strength and C scaling for dex. Our attack power on this one is 772, so just by far the highest on this list. It can't be upgraded using Ashes of War, but it does start with the Ancient Lightning Spear, which is just a really, really good special attack. Which gives you this really powerful ranged lightning attack, and considering for quality builds you don't normally have the ability to use faith incantations, it does offer you a really good out for that. So as far as how to get this one, you need to have made your way all the way up through the Altus Plateau into the Royal Capital region. You need to make your way to the Erdtree Sanctuary and defeat Godfrey, first Elden Lord, and it'll be the Golden Shade. It's one of the easiest boss fights in the game, at least in my opinion. And then from that Site of Grace, you can head out this door instead of continuing up the capital, and you'll make your way down to this little elevator here. Once you're down the elevator, you just make your way down this staircase until you get down to the little road down below us here. And from here, you look over the edge of this railing until you can line yourself up with the little building down below, and then you hop down, and you need to climb up on top of this larger version of the spear. Now be careful because it is possible to fall off, so just carefully make your way up. This part's the part where I usually fall off. Jump up there, and you'll be able to pick it up right here on the spear. And so you have to do it from that way. So you can't get up onto this spear unless you've gone up through there first. You have to come up to it from above there. And it's important to do this early enough in the game, because once you've progressed to the mountaintops of the giants and done what you do at the Forge of the Giants, the capital changes and you can no longer get it. So if you want to get the Bolt of Gransax, make sure you do this immediately after you've defeated Godfrey up in the Erdtree Sanctuary. So that is the last of our quality spears on this list. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful if you were looking for this type of thing. But that's all for today, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you liked this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.